It's me, your boy MC. Welcome back to Lego Therapy. We're live-ish in the Lego Lounge. This is the closest thing I could find to speeder handles in the Lego Lounge. So, what are we doing today? Peeps, I ran a poll. I asked you guys to vote on the next theme of my next build. The next theme of my next build. You get the point. Vote on the theme of my next build, and y'all chose Star Wars. I had Star Wars, Mario, and Disney were the three. And Disney came in close second, but Star Wars ended up winning. I guess technically Star Wars is also Disney, but that's not what I meant. I guess I should have wrote classic Disney Star Wars. I think people figured it out, because there was definitely votes for Star Wars and definitely votes for Disney. Anyways, y'all chose Star Wars, so what are we building today? What I was trying to emulate is the Endor Speeder Chase, and unfortunately I don't have a real Chewbacca and I don't have a real Wookiee, but here's my simulations. So they're both actually technically Bigfoot, except this was a gift given to me by my kids, and this one only has 1 foot. So it's even funnier. Peeps, what is this? This is set number 75353. That hurts my eyeballs. 75353. 608 pieces. I suspect we're gonna get this done in one sitting with that few pieces, but no guarantees. We'll see what happens. All right, let me move this out of my way, and let's bust open this box. I already looked at the directions ahead of time. This set retired in 2023, I believe, and it did have 3D directions, which is great. And I went through the PDF version real quick to see if it had any cool Easter eggs or backstories or anything, and oh man, that menu is huge. I'd say it's like such a, like, not a small set, but like a, you know, medium-ish small set. That's a pretty good sized manual, even though it got kind of beat up in the box. But 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi, so it's one of those series. I really like the I really enjoy the diorama sets. Unfortunately, I didn't get on top of them fast enough, and a bunch of them retired. So, but pull up the overhead mic real quick. You can see we got the book here, standard stuff at the front. But then, fortunately, like I said, this book got kind of beat up. A little story about the Endor Speeder Chase and the backstory and how they came together with the diorama. We got some behind the scenes stuff, pictures from Lucasfilm, different behind the scenes images from the original movie, and then talking about the actual set itself. And it looks like 5 total bags, so boom, get this out of the way. We'll go ahead and sort these bags out. Not that it's going to be too terribly long. So, as I was sitting here, well actually, as I was eating my breakfast this morning, thinking about what I wanted to do for an intro and such, which, you know, wasn't my most cinematic intro of all time, but I was trying to come up with something. But I was also thinking to myself, just about Star Wars in general. Maybe somebody knows the answer to this. You know, I've watched all the movies and all the TV shows and whatnot, but as I've explained too many times, I'm a fan of too many things. I just have so many fandoms, and so having the deep knowledge of some of these topics, I'm not the best at. Just because I take in too much, and my brain only has so much space, you know, Dunbar's number and all that. So, Get to the point, MC. I was wondering, what was the... Oh, and I know this is a bit of a stretch because you're trying to actually get inside George Lucas's head, not really the character's head. But I'll get there eventually. What was the Emperor's thought process in getting rid of the clone troopers? And here's my reason for this question, right? The clones are just that. They're clones. They're highly suggestible. And the only thought that I could come up with on my own, and I've not done any research, I literally, like I said, just thought about this while I was eating breakfast. I probably had this thought in the past at some point, but it was just something that popped in my brain since I knew this was the set I was building. The only thing that I can come up with is that the clones worked hand in hand with the Jedi during the Clone Wars. And that maybe the Emperor felt like they would become a threat to the Empire since they had this connection with the Jedi, right? But then I've got to play devil's advocate to that because the clone troopers were clones. They could manipulate them however they saw fit, and they did. Like, they could change their chemistry and change their whatever. Like, I know they all originally come from Jango Fett, but they could change them if they want and alter their training and alter their mindsets. And you saw that throughout the Clone Wars TV series and such. So it's kind of baffling that they replaced essentially robots. Not exactly. I know they're not robots. They're still humans, but not exactly either, right? They're kind of robots in a sense because they just programmed them to be their fighters. Like, yes, there was especially if you followed the cartoon, you know, the animated series, the Clone Wars, you saw how, you know, several clone troopers eventually broke off, especially after Order 66, and they decided to go do their own thing, and they weren't going to be war fighters anymore, right? But most of them were just programmed to do what they do, and they did what they did at the orders of Jedi, at the orders of the Empire, whoever was in charge. So this decision to eliminate all the clone troopers and replace them with just everyday humans who, by the way, are terrible at their jobs. The clone troopers, they had their faults, but the clone troopers were pretty good at fighting wars, and the stormtroopers have always been terrible. They can't shoot anything. They always miss. They're always getting killed. Like, the clone troopers are so ineffective. So when you sit there and start trying to think about it, like, why would you do that? It seems so counterintuitive. I know, again, it's a movie. It's all fake. It's just for fun. But these are just the weird thought processes that MC has sometimes. And so, yeah, I was sitting there questioning that. Like, I wonder if they ever talked about that in any of the movies or shows, and I just don't remember what the reasoning is. But it just seems counterintuitive to me. It seems like they would have been better off, you know, if they were concerned about the current batch of clone troopers, just wipe them out. Because, you know, but even that doesn't make a ton of sense because they followed Order 66. They went out and attempted anyway to kill all the Jedi. So, spoiler alert if you're like 40 years behind. They attempted to kill all the Jedi. So, like, clearly they were programmed well enough to be loyal and do what they were told. And, you know, some of them had the chip in their head and everything. So, I don't know. The whole thing doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And I know I'm trying to make sense out of something that probably may or may not even have an answer. It may just be something that George Lucas just never even considered. He just said, yep, we're rolling with this. Although George Lucas wrote really great stories. I don't care what anybody says. I think he wrote really great stories. The original series and the prequel series. And that's my opinion. But I think I could just be overthinking things, but I think that's such an odd detail of the entire story, is that they eliminated the guys that were so loyal to them. Anywho, peeps, let me hush up. We'll switch cameras and let's just build. Nice little base. Bag 1 complete. On to bag 2. So an interesting note, when I was reading through the directions, the early front part of the manual, they refer to these as the new fern pieces, which I've now seen them in multiple sets. And again, this set retired in 2023. Not sure what year it was released. I think 2022 or 2021. But thought that was kind of neat because, again, I've now seen them in several sets. And so, yeah, it's just kind of cool to see the evolution of Lego. You know, I've obviously, again, I've probably said this too many times. I've been a fan of Lego my whole life. Definitely played with Lego a lot as a child, but then I just got away from it for a long time, you know. Partially because, you know, my family couldn't really afford stuff like this when I was growing up. You know, you'd have like the general bucket of Lego, but not like specific Lego sets, you know what I'm saying? And so, anyways, for a short time as an adult, I was, you know, my young adult life, I was real into Bionicle, which again, at the time, I didn't even know it was Lego. I probably could have read it on the package, but I didn't look at it that deeply. I was just like, oh, these are super cool. I want them, and I built them. And then I, unfortunately, gave them all away or sold them or something. I think I probably just gave them away. I don't recall selling them back in the day, but anyways. I no longer have my Bionicle collection is the point. And where was I going with all this? Oh, the evolution of Lego. You know, like I've only been seriously doing Lego for a couple years now, 2, maybe 3 years. And so with that in mind, just the short time that I've been doing serious Lego, it's kind of neat to see the changes and the evolution and the growth. You know, I was talking to a buddy yesterday. I saw a post in one of the Lego groups that I'm part of, and he had actually seen it too, and we kind of had a good laugh about it. Somebody made a comment, and you know what? Everybody's entitled to their opinions, so I'm not judging this individual, but I made a comment along the lines of, and I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember the exact. Maybe it was her. I don't know. I didn't even look at the name. I don't remember their exact words, but essentially, they said, "I feel like modern Lego sets are boring. I miss the stuff from the 80s and 90s." And I was like, that kind of baffles me because, and again, my friend agreed. Again, I've been a fan of Lego in one form or another for most of my life, and to hear somebody say they think today's stuff is boring and the stuff that we grew up with was more interesting and exciting, I just can't agree with that. I feel like the stuff they're putting out today is so exciting, so fun, and it's almost too much. We both had a laugh about it. It was like, you know, I actually get excited a little bit when a set comes out that I'm not interested in. You know, because my wish list is ridiculous. Now, and this is another thing I said to him, I've come to accept, and I have to tell myself, I'm not going to own everything that I want. I'm just not. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Because in order to do that, I'd have to have a crazy amount of money, and I don't. So my wish list is always going to be way longer than my actual collection. My actual own list is never going to catch up to my wish list because there's so much, and Lego just keeps pumping them out, like great set after great set after great set. And again, I almost get excited when there's sets that I don't. Oh, okay, yeah, I can pass on that one easily. Just not interested in it. And so, all that to say, I just thought it was funny to hear somebody with that perspective, because I don't share that perspective. I feel like Lego is more exciting now than they've ever been in the history of Lego. That, my opinion, just my opinion, but that's how I feel about it. So, let me know what you think in the comments. You guys think Lego's gotten boring? Do you guys think it's better than ever? You think it's just about the same? I don't know. That was my perspective, and my buddy's perspective as well. We just kind of think, and we think it's more fun and exciting than ever. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And on that, let's get back to building, peeps. So when I first got back into Lego, the smaller version of this, I didn't know had a name, and I never really thought about it much. But then after watching enough other people's content, I came to discover these are called jumper plates, right? The smaller ones are jumper plates. I don't think there's any in this bag. And so I just adopted that because that's what everybody called it. It just became part of my lexicon now. But, you know, I always end up coming up with my own name. So there's There's the jumper plates, and then the longer version, I call those double jumpers, which I'm guessing is the same for everybody else. But then these, I call the fat double jumpers, also known as the Mario plates. Oh, I forgot the dad joke of the day. That bad dad joke reminded me I need to do the dad joke of the day. Why do melons have weddings? Because they can't elope. That's really good. That made me laugh out loud. Woo! Life's so much better when you're laughing. To quote my friends at Fromania Bricks, always show your smile, because they're so contagious. They really are. So true. Well, peeps, this episode ended up being a bit longer than I originally anticipated. I just did a whole bunch of rambling, but it is what it is. In an effort to not make this too long, I'm going to go ahead and cut this one off right here. And just come back for part 2 so you can see the final of the build. The final of the build. English is hard, peeps. The finale of the build and a little talk at the end. So, hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Share with your friends. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll see you guys on the next one. And until then, holla!